Welcome to ShadowMeTarot. I am going to, because we work on, I don't know, our shadow selves here. One of the best ways in order to embrace our shadow selves is being intimate with ourselves. And so I was thinking that maybe this thing that's normally for couples might work for shadow work. So we're just going to kind of flip through these cards and see what they're about, and see if they, can help with deeper connection and conversation with your partner. I am my own partner in this life, so maybe at least first I'm my own partner. I'm the only one who's got to live with me forever. So let's see. So here's the cards are, the bottom cards are super thin. They're not terrible. Not terrible. Intimacy deck. How to use. So you're looking to get talking at a deep and meaningful level. Prompts that encourage you to speak your truth, share your past, and plan for your future. There are 150 questions split across 6 different categories. Alrighty. So, I guess it doesn't have the categories. Oh, here we go. Here are the categories. Past, random, life, relationship, intimacy, and about you. So I can already see some things, I think this will be good for anybody, particularly somebody who's trying to, kind of reach back and heal past traumas. It's a good way of learning about yourself if you're able to verbalize it and even journal about it. All right, so we're going to do it this, it looks like relationship is the first one. And there we go. I'm probably going to flip through these pretty quickly. On a scale of 1 to 10, how messy are you to live with? What kind of present do you like best? What's something frivolous that you don't mind spending money on? Cards. What do you think What do you think are my best qualities? What was your biggest culture shock? When did you realize you were in love with me? What do you think are my worst qualities? Describe how you spend a perfect Sunday. As a parent, would you be the good cop or the bad cop? Explain. Which couple in our life do you wish to be either more like or nothing like? Explain. What makes you feel the most competent? These are great questions to ask yourself, to just learn about yourself. Sometimes we just get into survival mode and we survive instead of thrive. And these are, I don't know, I kind of view this stuff as the path to thriving. What lie have you told so much that you now believe it? Ooh, that's a good one. What did you learn about money from your parents? What's an area about me that you'd like to learn more about or have questions around? If I asked your past partners to list your most negative characteristics, what would they tell me? In what ways do you feel underappreciated by me or others? Do you consider yourself conservative, moderate, liberal, with your political leanings? What makes you angry and how do you behave when you're angry? If you could instantly attain 3 skills, what would they be? What's your favorite meal? How do you like to be cared for when you're ill? Do you ever feel jealous if you see me talking to other attractive people? What's one thing about your life you'd never change for me or anyone else? When do you feel the most insecure? Moving on to random questions. What are 5 things on your bucket list? What's one thing you'd like to get better at over the next year? How would you like your life to be different in 3 years? If I notice that your words and actions are not aligned, what is the best way to let you know? How can I make you more confident in our future together? What does your 5-year plan look like? Who do you think the disciplinarian will be between us if and when we have children? What goals do you have for yourself? How can I support you to achieve them? What's one thing on your bucket list that we can do together within the next 3 months? Tell me about a goal or personal dream you have that you've never shared with me. When was the last time our relationship pushed you outside your comfort zone? What's one thing you want to do together that we've never done before? What's something you thought when we first met that you no longer believe to be true? What first attracted you to me? What was your first impression of me? On a scale of 1 to 10, how nervous would you be if I started to look through your phone? Share one thing I've done this week that has made your week better. Can you remember what I was wearing when we first met? What's something that you've never admitted to anyone else? What's something I do all the time that drives you nuts? What do you hate most about the way I drive? What was your favorite date we ever had? What made your favorite? What are the top 5 qualities you admire about me? If you could see into the future, what's one thing you want to see? Have you ever cried during a movie? What was the movie and why did it make you cry? How do you like to be comforted when you feel down? When you experience stress or overwhelm, how do you like to be supported? Oh, we're into life now. What aspects do you miss about being single? How would you describe your financial status? What do you feel is currently missing from your life? Would you prefer we share a bank account or keep separate? Do you feel like we work as a team on making decisions? Are there any of my friends that make you uncomfortable? What book do you believe I would benefit from reading? What boundaries can we set to protect our relationship and communication from being damaged by technology? How did I make you smile this week? How should household chores be divided between us? What holiday traditions are important to you that you'd like us to keep going to into the future? What's currently keeping you up at night or causing you stress? How important are anniversaries, birthdays, and holidays to you? Describe if and how you'd like to celebrate. What's the craziest thing you've ever done, and would you do it again? What's your biggest pet peeve? Boy. With kids, do you want to work part-time, full-time, or be a stay-at-home parent? What are 3 places in the world you want us to visit together? Is it important to you to live close to your family? If you were given $1 million that you had to spend in 1 week, how would you spend it? Which of my friends do you feel I'm most similar to? Who of my friends or acquaintances do you feel has a negative influence on me? Which personal accomplishment are you most proud of? What were the major turning points in your life that got you here? Okay, this is the past. Describe a time or a moment in your life when you felt lonely or unloved. Describe a time when you had trust broken and how that affected you. What beliefs do you have about yourself that resulted from childhood? What do you wish you could go back and tell yourself 10 years ago? If you could pick 1 year of your life to do over, which year would you pick and why? Who in your life or past do you owe an apology and for what? What book has the greatest impact on your life? What have been the highlights and the lowlights of the past year for you? When was the last time a scent reminded you of a childhood memory? What's the best thing you inherited from each of your parents? When was the last time you cried and why? Describe a trait you hate about one of your parents. In what way do you have this trait too? What are your top 5 regrets in life? Tell me about the family you imagined creating when you were little. Were any of your past relationships toxic? What's one of your favorite childhood memories? What's the most illegal thing you've gotten away with? What did your past relationships teach you about love and partnership? Is there any history of addiction, abuse, negative habits in your family? How has this affected you? What are some things you liked and disliked in previous relationships? Is there anyone in your life who you're holding a grudge against? What's the angriest you've ever felt? What did you learn about marriage from your parents? Over the past 10 years, what's been your biggest blessing in disguise? Tell me something you believed as a child that makes you laugh now. Well, you know what? I'm thinking that this one was about you. Oopsies. I'm like, it's blue. That looked black in the paper. Doesn't that look black? That looks black to me. They do not look the same color. Oh, well. In any case, this was the about you part. Now we're getting into the relationship part. Okay. What triggers you during an argument? How do we work well together and balance each other out? If our relationship ended tomorrow, what 3 things would you miss the most? What is your biggest fear for this relationship? What do you feel is the most romantic thing I've ever done for you? What do you feel we need to work on most in our relationship? How can we do this? What are the deal breakers that would make you reconsider our relationship? What's your ideal romantic vacation? What's something you'd like to be forgiven for? What conversation have you been putting off? Tell me how I can help. I feel most loved when you. I feel the least loved when you. Tell me about a time when you didn't feel supported by me. What similarities do you see between your relationship and that of your parents? Describe a situation where you lost trust in someone close to you. How would your ex-partner of your last serious relationship describe you over the past month? In what ways are you feeling unappreciated by me? Have you ever flipped me off when my back was turned? If so, when and why? If not, when have you wanted to? Describe a time when I disappointed you, but you acted like nothing was wrong. Tell me 2 things I can do better two things I can do to better support you. Describe, if any, ways in which our relationship has changed you. Describe some times or areas in which you find it most difficult to be open and honest with me. Which love song best describes our relationship? Are there any areas of our relationship that you feel lack trust? What have been or remain to be the biggest points of contention in our relationship? How should we be working on it? On a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable are you with public displays of affection? I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I'm thinking of these questions in terms of self. So, how do you give yourself public displays of affection? Anyway, what's your favorite way to receive affection? What makes me different from other people when you've been you've been with? What part of your body do you worry turns me off? What are some ways we can make sure our sex life and intimacy stays intact when life gets busy? Describe our first kiss. What famous person would you want a hall pass to sleep with? What's your favorite time of day for sex? Describe something that turns you on, which you haven't shared with me. How do you describe me to other people? How has your childhood or upbringing shaped your sexuality? Describe something you'd hate to do for real. Oh, this is intimacy, sorry. But find kinky to think about. If you could have a magic wand, what would you want more of in your sex life? Who do you regret sleeping with? If we wanted to do something sexual that isn't what we normally do, what might we do? What kind of power dynamics excite you? What you really need to understand about me and sex is: where are 3 places you've thought about having sex other than our bed? How many times do you want to be intimate each week? Which relationship did you learn most about sex? What's one of your secret sexual fantasies? What do you wish we did more of in our sex life? What was the hardest decision you've ever had to make? What do I do that turns you on the most? What's your favorite sexual memory of us? Okay, so one of the things that I like to do with shadow work, I feel like you kind of take control of it and you're able to truly address it with the good questions that you ask yourself. So I feel like in a shadow reading, these actually could be useful in determining what questions need to be asked, if there's clarification that needs to happen. If there's clarification that needs to happen for communication, like if you get a communication spread where clearly they need to be saying stuff, clearly there needs to be a conversation, maybe these cards can give you a guide as to what questions you should be asking, either of yourself or of your partner or both. So just to kind of give you, this is 78 cards, this is 150 cards, so the card stock is kind of thick. The cardstock is kind of thick. They're relatively small. So if I wanted to, and I don't know, if I want to shuffle them, I can, pretty easily. There we go. And this one flipped over. We'll just do the one. Would you prefer we share a bank account or keep separate? All right, so if anybody's looking for a question, that's the one. All right, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, like, subscribe, and share. If there are you know, card decks that you're looking at that you would like to see an unboxing for, please let me know in the comments, and I'll be happy to, if I can, I'll be happy to do that unboxing. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.